I'm wearing a Purdue hat. It's one of the boys, and I don't know. They don't even like Purdue, but I don't know. They got the
What does
hat.
it say? Because it looks like it says Packers. Because I just see Ackers.
No, it's just Purdue. Boilermakers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, yeah, we live in Indiana, which is the roundabout capital of the world. Well, actually, Carmel, Indiana, and we finally got sideswiped the other day.
Oh, how does that happen in a roundabout? Roundabout is like a two-lane roundabout.
Well, when you're a 20-year-old Spanish-speaking girl with a learner's permit from New York, and you're in the rainstorm, apparently,
In the
you just go,
rainstorm.
you're supposed to go straight, and you said I want to go left, and that went right into us. Thankfully,
Man,
Kat was driving. She reacted really well, and because it would have, if she didn't stop the
in her
car, we
new
would have went.
car.
Yeah, we would have went into a we would and they're not paying, so
Of course not.
so well yeah, so her insurance expired the next day, so
Well, at least she had it.
she had it for a
You're
day.
still liable.
So we did the stupid thing, and lesson learned: always call the police.
Yeah.
We everyone was fine. It was business. Carmel shut down that day, like at 4. Like everything was getting shut down at 4 because there was supposedly a big storm with 80-mile gust winds, and it was bad. It was really bad out. It wasn't that bad as like 80 miles, but
How
we're
big of a
good.
city is Carmel?
Um, it's growing. I mean, it's voted usually in all these like magazines and shit like it's the top 3, top 1 best place to live like
But
every
it's not as
year.
big as Atlanta.
No, 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 no. It's a suburb of Indianapolis, which is becoming really, really crime heavy for So it's that I
That's
don't
the
know,
way it goes.
Carmel. Yeah, Carmel size. Let's see.
I was just curious because it sounded a lot like Atlanta at the thought of snow since the snowmageddon that happened so long ago when we first moved here. Like they just have snow flurries in the whole city. Like nobody leaves
No,
their
I
house.
know.
The whole
I
place shuts down. I'm like,
one
is
of
it
the
that big?
No, no. It's Carmel's 50 miles, and it's under 100,000 people, just at 100,000 people. But it's always voted. But no, interesting enough, one of the biggest. I grew up in upstate New York, and so snowstorms and blizzards were like part of our just normal
Right.
life.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But one of the worst snowstorms I ever spent. It was also one of the most fun. Was Savannah, Georgia. There was a storm there years ago that was just like it was beautiful. I mean, it was the most beautiful snow I've ever experienced. Different type
And
of snow.
Savannah's so pretty anyway because they have all the weeping
So yeah,
willows
so then you
and
had snow
stuff
on the
like that.
trees and stuff like that.
It's cool
What?
till the trees start breaking and landing on your car and your house and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, everyone's on. The month of June has not been good for most chiropractors
Yeah.
because everyone is on vacation. And you guys did your vacation in June, right? Or was that May? That was
End of
June.
May.
End of
End of
May,
May. We
basically.
got back
Yeah.
June 2nd.
So Dan Bay just texted me. He goes, "Thinking of you," which was
From where?
I don't know, kind of gay. Um,
Well, he comes off kind of gay. Let's just say.
yeah, just thinking about you, bro. What's up? I go, "Hey, dude, Pinky in the brain shit. How are you? Ha ha ha. Cool. On vacation, decompressing. Oh, good. I didn't think you did that." And I'm asking where. He hasn't answered yet. So
You know what's interesting about Pinky and the Brain?
what?
My husband's cousin is the voice of one of those two characters. I don't remember which
You
one.
know which one?
I think it's the Brain. I think it's the Brain. I think he's the voice of the Brain.
My God, that was such one of my favorite shows as a kid. Pinky and
I
the
love
Brain.
that show.
What are we
What are we
doing
doing
today?
today?
Taking over the world, Pinky, or whatever he was
Yeah,
saying. So
exactly. What do we do every day? We're trying to
the
take over the
the
world.
world. So, man, that's cool, dude. But everyone has been on vacation, and the inmates are running the asylum again. We talk about this all the time, but I do think that a lot of guys and girls out there have to realize that that's why there's seasons. And so there's some freaking out, there's some stressing out. It ain't worth it. Your practice is going to be okay. People leave and people go and they come back, and
True.
but this is why it's so important. I'm just going to say this, that you plan out your year. And I was actually going over with one of the easiest things you can do in your market, and a lot of the markets are the same, but there's some interesting anomalies. But if you go to Google search trends and you just put in chiropractor, best chiropractor, chiropractor near me, the common everyday search trends that your consumers are using, you can look and see what it looks like for peak and valleys during the year. And usually, interesting enough, if you keep track of your data and records, it usually matches up really well. So you can have predictive forecasting based on your data and Google data to tell you when should you be in creation mode and when should you be in curation and when should you be in both. And when it gets like this is when you doing unless you're taking your own vacation, which you shouldn't. I think everyone should be taking more vacations. That's why you own your own business. But there's so many people that are afraid to take more than 2 weeks off because they're like, what am I going to do with my people? And I'm like, dude, go get adjusted by everybody in town. Go get adjusted by everybody in town. Make friends with. This is what I grew up with. My dad was friends with every chiropractor. And you know what? What happened? When he'd go on vacation for a long time, guess what? People would cover his damn practice. Do you lose me? Am I lost? Or just my voice?
Well, you are lost, actually.
Oh, man.
Let's find you. Your video is down.
But my voice is there. Okay, so we're
Your
cool.
Your voice is there. You're like,
then I don't know. This camera's being a stupid little brat today. I don't know. What do you think about all that? Because, there's stress. So I think that this means, hey, if I'm down and people are taking off, this is time to work on your practice, not work in your practice sometimes. And, but, also please take more vacations out there, please.
I think that is a very valid point. A lot of people are afraid to take vacations. And honestly, depending on whatever your practice model is, like at least if people can still get adjusted, if you have a friend, in your town and you get adjusted by them and they're willing to see your people, I think that's a great idea. Some of your people might not want to see somebody else, how people are, but at least at a bare minimum to keep the care plan going with the adjustments for sure. And
so how would you... I like that. How would you do the handoff? Because I think that's more important than anything. I totally get. Here's my take, and this is coming off of. I went to a multi-site clinic in Michigan, and they, I was telling the doc, I was like, hey, she's so great at recommending stuff, and she's just brilliant, Dr. Tanya. And she's handed off her patients, her old school, 10 years, 5 years, 7 years. At some point, you got to be like, I'm not going to ask you. One of the things is we talk people out of stuff. Like, we talk people out of doing video testimonials. When I was there, one of the things that was, like, grinding my gears was some of the docs were like, to patients, you don't have to do it. I'm like, why are you saying that? Like, here's a really, really great sales lesson for everyone. Here's a line that you can use if you ever want to get your way with your partner and spouse. Just say, would you be opposed? It's really, really hard for the brain to go, yes, I would be opposed to do that. Would you be opposed to doing a video testimony? Would you be opposed if I set you up with Dr. So-and-so? They're great hands. Some say they're even better than mine. Like simple stuff like that. But we talk people out of that's my take, like.
I like that. I had a doctor one time when I was younger. I was super sick. I had a really bad ear infection that turned into like a total body lymph infection.
Oh my God.
And it was this old man, ear, nose, and throat doctor. And he had one of those like silver things on his head,
Yeah.
He was really cool. But he literally used those exact same lines. He's like, and he was like so mellow. Like I had to figure out how sick I was by all the recommendations that he made for me. He's like, so would you be opposed to basically being on antibiotics for the next 4 weeks? And would you be opposed to having a steroid injection now and 2 weeks later? And would you be opposed? And then I go home, I'm like, man, those were some serious recommendations. I was like, I'm freaking sick.
Yeah. How'd you catch that?
I was I wasn't even an undergrad. I was actually had been taking classes before I went to chiropractic school, like the chemistries and stuff like that. And I was a trainer at the time, a personal trainer. And I'm just thinking like, school's got me down because it was classes in the morning. I was training people at like 6 a.m. until like 7 o'clock at night, going to class in the middle of the day. I'm just thinking I'm exhausted, tired from like all this mental load that I'm having. But and I'm just super fatigued, like so tired. And I had like a little bit of pain in my ear, but nothing like crazy, but it was very persistent. And so I decided to go to the doctor. And ironically, at the same time, I was also dealing with the thing that brought me into chiropractic, which was sciatic pain and hip pain. And at nighttime, I would just lay in bed, like with my legs just kind of like flared open, because like right in my groin, it ached. And my whole body ached. And
That sucked.
and so I went and saw him, and he's like, obviously I had a bilateral ear infection. And at that time, I had basically realized, I was like, oh, you know what? This is my lymphatic system. I'm like, it's infected into my legs, because I had to let it go for like a month or longer. Who knows? So yeah, I had a really bad ear infection. I was on antibiotics for a long time, and I slept for like 24 hours after I saw that guy.
All right.
Yeah, someday.
That's
He
life,
didn't really
dude.
tell me I was all bad. He's just like, would you be opposed?
Would you be opposed? It works all the time. It works 50% of the time, every time.
Yeah, and talking about the handoff, I really just think you say, hey, I'm going on vacation. My friend, Dr. So-and-so is going to be taking over adjustments. Here's where their office is at. When would you like me to schedule you?
Yeah.
You don't really, like you said, you don't give them the option. And some people are going to say, I don't want to, I'm just going to wait for you. And other people are going to be like, oh, that's great.
I dig it. Well, listen.
Can you dig it?
What are your plans again for July 4th? I'm trying to figure out, what is everyone doing that's cool to celebrate? Do you care about 250? Is that matter to you, or is it just,
I think it's cool that we've lasted this long.
Right?
We haven't destroyed ourselves yet. And who doesn't like fireworks?
Okay. Do you guys go anywhere special?
We're going to Chicago. We're going up to Chicago because my husband's entire family is going to be there. One of my clients, though, I was talking to them. They live in Washington, D.C., like 2 blocks away from the White House. And she said that she called it their club. I'm guessing it's their building they live in. I don't know, or maybe some club they go to, some elitist club.
The elitist club.
Well, they're both financial advisors. I'm going to assume they're very wealthy, and they live 2 blocks away from the White House in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
But super nice people, love them to death. But either way, they're like, yeah, we'll probably go up on the roof and watch the fireworks from there. And I'm like, that would be so awesome, right? 2 blocks away from the White House, so they can see the White House, obviously. And there's going to be all these fireworks going off over the top. I'm like, I want to do that.
Well, do you think you just mentioned something that triggered me, and I had to do a quick research because I didn't remember how long this was. But the Western Roman Empire lasted roughly 500 years, ending with the collapse of centralized Roman administration, and the Eastern Roman Empire continued for another 1,000 years until its capital, Constantinople, fell to the Ottoman Empire. Do you think that we got? Do you think we got another 250 years? Can we make it to 500? Do you think we got another 1,000 years?
I don't know if we have 1,000 years, frankly.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's hard to say.
Well, what do you think chiropractic's utilization rate will be in 250 years? Will it still be at 8 to 13%?
God, I hope not. I really do feel like there's been more of an awakening since COVID. People are obviously looking for more non-pharmaceutical, non-surgical approaches to health and healing. So, I think that we do need to get out of our way, honestly, and believe in ourselves more. I have a patient that just started, and he's done all the things medically. I'm his last ditch effort. And he is only
you're always the last ditch effort. That's chiropractic 101, right?
I know, right? Exactly. But it's just really reinforced for me. And he's done the stem wave and stuff like that. He bought several packages of it. And I've only seen him. He just started care. This is probably one of the most extensive care plans I've ever done because he's just in a bad place. and I've also just learned that frequency of the action makes the greatest change, and that the more you can adjust somebody, kind of like what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, like multiple times a day, which I'm not doing, but I'm literally adjusting him every day that I'm in office for multiple months. That's his care plan. And today's going to be day 4 of his care plan, so I've only adjusted him 3 times. And for day 1, he's like, the tension's off my hamstrings. Day yesterday, he was like, I'm noticing my nervous systems are getting better just a little bit. It takes time, but I mean, and to see the optimism and the hope in this person, and it just reinforces the adjustment works. Nothing trumps the adjustment. That's just all that there is to it.
But you got to have therapy. I think you're really good at this because I just know you. So you're doing this with what we call what my dad would call therapeutic communication or table talk, right? And you're constantly reinforcing and reassessing. Well,
yeah,
with
because
them.
I also do therapies with people, and not like e-stem and stuff like that, but I do exercise, I do rehabilitative stuff. And sometimes people want to think that it's the exercise that's making the difference. I'm like, no, the biggest thing I can do for you is adjust you. Nothing trumps the adjustment. There is something that happens. Today's technology is only proving the theories of chiropractic that we are changing the brain, we are changing neurological function, we are causing plasticity of the system, we're opening the door for change, we're accelerating that change, and that's constantly what I tell people, because people always just want to be like, oh, it's the exercises. Well, if it was the exercises, you would have been better a long time ago, because you've done exercises, you've seen the therapists.
Yep. Nothing
changed until you got adjusted. I mean, even for myself, before I became a chiropractor, when I had the hip problems and the sciatica, I was an athletic trainer. I was a personal trainer. I did PT. And none of it helped me until I started getting adjusted.
Yeah. Well, I think the good news is that you actually adjust. There's a lot of patients that, this whole utilization thing is funny because, it's really weird. I would say, based on my on-sites at 25 plus offices, anecdotally, I would say 50% of patients had another chiropractor before. And I would say that half of those told me that their other chiropractor didn't adjust them.
Well, and you know what's interesting? I'm glad you brought that up, because even yesterday I was thinking to myself, because this guy, he had like 2 stem wave treatments left, and he was going to put a pause on it for a while. And I'm just thinking, this chiropractor that this guy was seeing, because it's a chiro that has a stem wave that's been doing the treatments on him, right?
Yeah.
Look at the opportunity he lost.
Yep. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
By relying on an outside.
And there's a lot of neuropathy guys and girls out there who this baffles me, dude. I had a chiropractor. She in LA. She actually dated. She was a patient. I'm not violating anything now because I'm not part. I don't care. She was a patient of my OBGYN med spa practice. She was a little batshit. You know what? I don't know, batshit crazy. So very attractive. LA type. White chick, and she was Jamie Foxx's side chick for a while. And I got to meet Jamie and hang out and do stuff, and he's a cool dude. But I remember saying to her, because I was starting to develop sleep apnea, and I was like, I need to get adjusted and checked. She said, well, sleep apnea. I'm like, yeah. I bring this up because there's a lot of neuropathy docs. This is, neuropathy is a big market because everyone has either diabetes, autoimmune, cancer, or all 3 in our world now. And you got guys out there that are just doing everything but the adjustment. And it baffles me. And I'm like, and then they're not closing. This is even what baffles me even more. I was saying this to someone the other day. I'm like, even though this is a conversation I have with someone, if it were me, and I'm not closing an $8,000-$10,000 case, I say, look, let's get real here. You know you, I know you. It's like that meme. I know you, and you know me. And you ain't gonna change your diet, and that's gonna be a big important deal of what you're doing with diabetes or cancer or autoimmune. But I know you. You're 65 years old. You ain't done with those Kit Kat bars. You ain't done. So how about this? How about we put you, and you can't afford $8,000 prepaid. How about this? How about $200 a month, and I adjust you one to two times a month, and at least give your immune system and your nervous system the chance to adapt and be, and maybe you'll live a little bit better. Do you want to just live better? And so I'm like, you ain't even downselling them to chiropractic. Why not? You know, it was crazy when we used to walk in. You know, some of these chiropractors, when we were at the first Car Sushi Summit, you know, we're smokers. We're smokers. And a long time, my father was not. He smokes cloves, and there's a lot of other chiropractors that smoke cloves. I won't name names, but one of them's the president of a chiropractic college, and so, you know, and they enjoy their cloves, and I think that makes them feel better than they're smoking cigarettes. But I smoke. And we walked through Vegas, you know, you walk through Vegas casinos and, you know, it's smoky.
Disgusting.
Oh, now now hold on. And my dad went and said the greatest line ever. Well, if you understand chiropractic, then you understand adaptability and you'll be fine. He said it just like that to one 25-year-old Logan college kid. You know,
do a little brown thumb and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes it's not about, it's just about being a little bit better. And you're right. There's a lot of people that now are coming out. You know, the one thing about it was interesting. I wish you were there that late. We missed you. It was last year in Detroit. It was the Detroit girls. It was Amanda, Thea, Paula, and, you know, Paula was sharing about, you know, business is down. But the good news is the people that are coming in and they want to live longer. They want to live better. It wasn't just about getting out of pain. So you're absolutely right. We're you know, did we miss this is what I think happened. COVID happened, and I think we should have been louder during that time. I look back when I was in Black Diamond Club, we were telling people, well, I wasn't telling people, but I was supporting the message of someone who was telling people, don't be the weird chiro. And now I look back and I go, man, we should have been the wildest, weirdest, and fought more, because that was the shift that happened. I mean, Casey Means and her brother talk about this all the time, that now, you know, 5, 6, 7 years later, or how long it's been, you got consumers that don't trust the allopathy. Like, the trust is gone. And they're saying, well, what about the root cause analysis? They're asking, they're not in that so much that term, but is there something else but drugs and surgery we could do? You know?
Absolutely. And you know what? Honestly, even I feel like probably there's a few chiropractors out there that need to work more on that too, because even this guy that I was just telling you about that had been seeing this other doc for stem wave, who I don't know who the doc is, he was just like, I just feel like we're getting down to the root cause now. Like, the stem wave wasn't addressing the root cause. And I'm just thinking, how come this guy, how could you not try to clench that opportunity, right? Standing right in front of you. And,
because even a bad adjustment, like Reggie Gold says, like bad sex is still going to work. It's still good. It's still good. You know, innate's going to happen, some way or another, if you just guide it and help it. I didn't think this was a problem that the DE guys were shouting about for years when I was going to DE. And I stopped going to DE because they also say some baffling stuff too there that just is, you know, I always tell people, go to DE, get your spiz on, but when they talk about business stuff, plug your ears. Like, you know, don't take business advice from these guys, but take philosophical chiropractic principle-based stuff from these guys, you know? Because that at least was passed down from Sid. Now, you went to Life, right? Oh, where'd you go to school? Parker? You went to Parker. What year did you get out?
2012.
So 2009, 10 you started. Who was the president back then? Was that Fabrizio? No. Fabrizio was out then even, right? It was Mandel?
It was
Fab?
First person.
Yeah. It's a Fabrizio.
I'm just gonna not comment.
It's okay you're in a predicament, so I won't push you in
Well,
that.
it's not even that. I mean, I had my own opinions about that person when I was in school. Actually, I was privy to things that happened during that time when I was a student.
Yeah. Did Fab was Fab so Fab wasn't so fabulous?
I mean, he thinks he's fabulous.
He definitely,
He definitely has a big personality.
yeah, it's a me, Fabrizio. That's my thing I do. It was crazy. I was walking behind. I didn't get to say hi to your husband. I was walking behind your husband at Florida Chiropractic last year, and then I'm standing there talking to Stu Hoffman's kid, and Stu's talking to Fabrizio, and Fabrizio goes, "Hey Tristan." I'm like, I didn't even know he knew who I was. So I was like, okay, cool. So, all right, so
So let me just comment for a second, because you said for a moment ago, you're talking about everybody now is looking for longevity, and that is a fact. I will tell you that a lot of the care plans I have sold lately are really actually based around longevity. I take out the whole pain component. Certainly I discuss that with people, but when I hear the underlying tones of people's conversations, especially when they're older, that's what they want, is they want to figure out what's the longevity of my body, my ability to be physically active. And I gotta tell you something, that longevity, dare I say, plug is a really easy way to keep people in care. Because I had one guy, he's older, and he went through his care plan, and he came because he was in pain. But during his consult, he's talking about longevity, and when he's like, "Oh, well, I only want to come once a month now," and I'm like, "Really? Do you think that that's going to give you what you actually need when you tell me that you want all of this stuff?" And he's like, well,
"But it's because you did that, and you had that conversation and said that."
But that's exactly right. That's why. It's like, well, do you remember when you said that these are the things that you
Yes,
wanted?
because you did great sales discovery. That's part of a great sales discovery.
Well, that, and you got to use people's words.
Yeah,
but dare I say, own words against them.
I love asking the 5 whys of people. If you ever do this exercise, just ask why, and then ask why, and then ask why, and then ask why, and then ask one more why. And at the root, but like you said, they have to own the words. At the root of it, it's always going to be God, source, fear, death, all that kind of stuff. But you got to have them own it. You got to do a great discovery because you got to use their words against them. Like you said, remember when you said, and this is the same thing when they want to leave you. But that gets me stoked that people care more about this stuff because look, what's old is new again. I guess that means we can start saying things like chiropractic adds years to your life and life to your years.
It's true.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
It's true. I agree.
Old cliche chiropractic things are back. Like the old BJ, what is it? Was it dividends, premiums? Chiropractic is life insurance. I'm helping to hire
I'm familiar with that.
Oh, you know that? Hold on. BJ Palmer, chiropractic quotes, insurance. Hold on. This computer typer is bad.
So while you're typing, I'll make another comment on something that you had said earlier about the patients running the asylum.
Chiropractic is health insurance, premiums small, dividends large. And that was a BJ quote. And I had someone write back to me, I'm trying to hire a sales rep for one of my offices. And she wrote back, do you guys offer health insurance? And I used that quote. I go, chiropractic is health insurance, premiums small, dividends large. All right, what's about the inmates running the asylum?
I think that when the doctor has certainty that the inmate, then that doesn't happen. I had a person, and granted, they're like, so talking about old people coming back, I had a former client return with her new husband, and they're actually moving to Vietnam in the middle of next month. And she's like, we just want to get some care before we leave. And her husband's never been seen before, never seen a chiropractor. And I do this exam, and he's got issues, of course. And so I was like, look, dude, if you really want me to help you before you leave, this is what needs to happen. I gave him my recommendations. And he's like, I don't know. I think that one time a week would be enough. I'm like, dude, I was like, I can do that, but the reality is it's not going to help you. You have 4 weeks before you leave. I was like, that's not going to do jack for you. Like the reality, that's just, I didn't say jack, but
Yeah.
I was like, it's not going to help you, dude. You need to have a higher frequency if you want to make any level of change before you leave to another country that may or may not have a doctor there that you can see, right? And then a week later they come back, oh, we'll come in 2 times a week.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
You just got to stand in your recommendations. I mean, if you can say, sure, I can do that, but you have to manage expectations at the same time. I can do that, but this is what's going to be the result.
Absolutely.
Actually, I saw something really cool the other day on Instagram. Some old lady that gives financial advice. And she's like, it's not a negotiation, right? It's not a negotiation. Right. Here's the price for these things. If you want to pay less, then some of those things go away.
Yeah.
Like instead of, if you can't pay this and you want to pay this, then this is what you get instead. We're going to remove these parts of the equation. And I was like, that's good.
That's brilliant. That's really good.
Yeah. Just be confident in those things that you say to people, because the reality is you're still the doctor, right? They're coming to you for help because they don't know what to do. So for them to say, well, I know what's better. Well, then why are you here?
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great episode. I am super stoked, and you pumped me up. And I'm gonna go celebrate the boys' 12th birthday. They're 12-year-olds. They're preteens now. Yeah, I've been with them half their life. We're gonna go see Jackass. Yeah, we're gonna go see
the movie. Is there a new Jackass out?
It's the last one, the new and last one, and that's one of the things they asked for. They asked for some other stuff. They wanted it. All these kids want these e-bikes, which are basically little motorcycles, and we're like, hell no. And because there's so many accidents now happening with it, but we got them their like the new scooters, which they go pretty fast. But it's so weird. They're the cat took them to the pool splash pad around here, whatever it was. And, they're talking to girls now, and Ollie's not the girl crazy. Ozzy's girl crazy. And, it's just, it goes so fast. I mean, it literally just feels like yesterday that I was like, they're like asking their mom to look at their butt and be like, do I have crusties up there? So.
And we're already halfway through this year.
Yeah. So you think about
that.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
You just goes. It's like basically you get 3 cycles. You get the 6. Well, I missed the first cycle, 0 to 6. You got the 6 to 12 cycle, and now we're gonna have the 12 to 18 cycle, right? Like this, and then it's pretty much. I'm so glad because I had a wild childhood, but my dad's my best friend now, and I really feel that way. Now, when I was 15, I thought about murdering. Literally. But anyways, you were to say something? I'm sorry.
We can't record next week because I won't be here.
Okay. Well, where you go? Oh, you're going to Chicago.
Yeah.
Well, Chicago. Have fun in Chicago. And everyone have a good 4th of July. And I'm going to take the time off too. So brilliant. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Melba.
Good one.
Bye, guys.
Hasta
Bye.
luego.